An 8-day expedition starting in Washington, D.C. charts a trajectory straight to Keflavik, Iceland. Moving east into Þingvellir National Park, the landscape reveals a literal physical fracture. The North American and Eurasian tectonic plates pull apart here at a rate of a few centimeters every year. This constant rifting fractured the basalt, producing an enclosed, acoustically perfect natural amphitheater. In 930 AD, Viking settlers recognized this acoustic advantage and convened the Alþingi, their annual parliament. The location of the world's oldest surviving democracy was dictated by the structural mechanics of the Earth's crust. 30 miles to the east, the Hitva River plunges 32 meters into a gorge at Gullfoss. This two-tiered drop is a direct result of catastrophic glacial floods at the end of the Ice Age. In the early 20th century, foreign investors sought to dam this specific cascade for hydroelectric power, a plan halted largely by the legal and environmental resistance of local resident Sigridur Tómasdóttir. While Gullfoss was preserved from industry, the Blue Lagoon is a product of it. Visitors often mistake its milky blue waters for a prehistoric natural phenomenon. In reality, this is an image of the Svartsengi geothermal plant. The lagoon is a highly engineered, sustainable reservoir, powered entirely by the silica-rich runoff from this adjacent power facility. Here, the sublime environment is harnessed for utility and leisure. This sets a baseline for the transition to Bavaria, where nature is subjected entirely to human design. Relocating from Iceland to Munich requires a shift in analysis. We move from a society adapting to nature to one actively engineering its ideology into stone. At Marienplatz, the Neues Rathaus Glockenspiel operates as a mechanical chronicle of this history. Its automated figures reenact the 1517 Cooper's Dance, a performance originally designed to coax citizens out of their homes following the plague. Nearby, the looming towers of the Frauenkirche and the sprawling Wittelsbach residence stand as the physical manifestations of the dynasty's counter-reformational zeal. Look at this blueprint of the Munich residence. Over 4 centuries, its footprint expanded to swallow the city center, projecting centralized power. Tracking these additions reveals their political trajectory. As the architecture scales outward, the Wittelsbachs elevate from regional dukes to absolute kings. Architecture served as an engineered liturgy, a daily spatial reminder designed to enforce political compliance. The Wittelsbachs established their authority in the public squares of Munich. By the 19th century, that reality contrasted sharply with the isolated Alpine romanticism of Schwangau. King Ludwig II inherited the throne during a structural shift toward a constitutional monarchy, a transition that effectively stripped him of governing power. In response, Ludwig commissioned Neuschwanstein Castle. Despite its appearance, the structure lacks defensive capabilities. The ornate spires and expansive windows render it militarily useless. Instead, Ludwig utilized the castle as pure theatrical stagecraft. It was designed as a highly personalized, anachronistic vision of the absolute rule he was denied in reality. Denied actual sovereignty, he manufactured a medieval fantasy landscape to soothe his political impotence. Ludwig's secretive mountain isolation was an anomaly for his family. Earlier generations of the Wittelsbach dynasty projected expansive public power, seen clearly at the Nymphenburg Palace. This impulse extended to urban terraforming. The English Garden covers 1.4 square miles, an aggressive reordering of the natural landscape within the city limits. Creating the Icebach wave required specific hydrological manipulation. Engineers installed precise underwater concrete structures to force the Isar River into a permanent, artificial standing wave. Even the chaotic, kinetic energy of a river current is completely subjugated, mathematically controlled, and engineered for civilian leisure. Moving north to 16th century Nuremberg, the imperial castle anchors the city as a geopolitical stronghold of the Holy Roman Empire. Spreading out from the city walls are Adam Kraft's 1506 stone reliefs, 7 large-scale carvings depicting the Stations of the Cross. This map of 16th century Nuremberg demonstrates Kraft's objective. Overlaid with Van Adricam's map of Jerusalem, the reliefs form a one-to-one mapping of the biblical city. Using authenticated step counts, they chart a mathematically precise route down the Via Dolorosa, from Pilate's home to the cemetery. Armed with this precise data, citizens unable to travel to the Middle East could execute a highly accurate virtual pilgrimage through their own streets. Pure mathematical precision and devout belief imported the geography of the Holy Land directly into the cobblestones of Bavaria. The physical zenith of this itinerary is reached at the peak of the Zugspitze, Germany's highest summit. The geomorphology of this massif is defined by a cataclysmic prehistoric event, when a massive section of rock collapsed in a sprawling alpine avalanche. The resulting debris cascaded into the valley below, damming the basin and forming the topographical bowl that now holds Lake Eibsee. This violent ancient geological deposit mirrors the raw, untamed tectonic forces witnessed on day 1 at the mid-Atlantic ridge. As the 8-day expedition concludes and the trajectory points back to Washington, D.C., the intellectual arc of the journey resolves. Iceland demonstrates that early human society was forced to adapt its legal and political structures to the raw power of the earth. Bavaria provides the inverse, terraforming mountains and bending landscapes to its ideological will. We see geological determinism on one side, architectural determinism on the other. To travel this route is to study the human drive to simultaneously survive the natural world and completely reinvent it in our own image.